One moment, wait till Zoom fully goes over to Facebook Live. And we're kicking off our Monday Mania in style tonight. Okay, I think we are good to go. Get my little volume. There we go. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to our Monday Mania Live It webcast. We are rocking and rolling like we always do. So I am so excited for everything that we're going to be able to do tonight. And it's all about, as we've talked about, it's all about these webcasts taking your body to that next level as you're living Zen Project 8. Each week, I'm hearing information. I'm watching what the group's saying. I'm seeing what everyone's saying. Okay, Mark, can you talk about this? Can you talk about that? So tonight, I was just in New Jersey 2 weeks ago, and we're just in Los Angeles. This past Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just flew home late last night. Yesterday, got home late in the night. And the question I kept getting was, always, whether I was in Chile, is, why is Zen Project 8 so unique? Can you do a webcast on actually the science behind it? Now, what I wanted to do deeper is I wanted to really talk about you are what you metabolize. And that's the main what we're going to focus on. How when you can optimize your digestive system, your hormones become balanced. And then when your hormones become balanced, you actually can achieve whatever goal you want with your body. You can permanently reprogram your body. And it all starts with your digestive system. So I have a cool experience that I'm going to walk you through tonight. Great visuals to help you truly understand that. Now, as with every live that we do, I got my iPad Pro right here. So I'm going to go right to the Facebook page so we can make this super interactive. Remember, I talk for about 15, 20 minutes. If there's things that you have that you want to say, I see everyone jumping on right now. We got Dara. I'm going to go right to the comment section, and I'll answer any questions. Joe Shepard's on. Joe Shepard, baby, from Ireland. We got Jerry Ziffer. Love you, Jerry. Kathleen Paredes. Mary Messer. So, as I'm watching this, I'm going to be seeing all the comments that come on. I'll make adjustments as we go throughout. So just know that we got Bev on. I think Bev just jumped on. Bev, I just got your text. I love that. We got Brianne. So just know I'll be following this the whole time. And the goal is for you to get nuggets of information every single Monday night. So let's dive in. And I just want you to think about and just write down right now, you are what you metabolize. Just tell yourself that you are what you metabolize. I every single day, whether it's being talked from a national reporter, whether it's doing a local media segment, where it's talking to a friend, when it's speaking at an event, people just don't understand food. I had a great conversation with my buddy Kevin Lawrence, who created the Power Crunch bar. To me, my favorite bar in the world. And we're talking to Kevin about things that we can continually do together. That's a hint for future stuff, maybe, not for sure, but maybe. But Kevin is the greatest protein mind. And, he had on our call today, it was very cool what he said. He said, Mark, the way your body works, your number one receptive mechanism in your body is your digestive system. And tonight I want to take you on a 15-minute experience on from the moment you take your first breath to where you sit right now, how your digestive system works. And when you get this, you'll understand the science behind why we made Zen Project 8 the way we did, why we created Zen Fuse, our world-cutting class protein shake like no other in the world. And you'll start understanding the purpose behind why we do what we do. So when someone's looking at you and they're saying, hey, I want to take my body to that next level. I'm tired of dieting. I'm tired. I'm stuck. I can't gain weight. I can't build any more muscle. I can't burn any more fat. I can't drop the baby weight. I'm getting older and I'm getting softer. And at Los Angeles, so many people who don't want to lose weight, but the older they get, guess what? They're getting softer and flabbier, and they don't want that. They want to be stronger and healthier. And that's the power of what we're doing. But it all starts with your digestive system. So let's dive into it. So I love all the hearts coming on. Jody Steve, my dear buddy, Jody Stevens, I love you. We got Sue. We got Australia on the house and New Zealand. I love our global outreach. So let's start. Let's go to the basics. So I'm going to do it's going to be a 4-prong approach tonight. I'm going to talk about blood sugar first and take you down just how your body processes fuel. Then I'm going to introduce to you the 3 macronutrients your body needs. I'm then gonna, as I do that, then I'm gonna show you some cool visuals about your actual digestive system. So you kind of get an understanding of how this mechanism is designed to work. And then give you a cool visual on just how simple it is. Because once you get the science, you gotta keep it simple. I'm gonna show you how to do that. Okay, so let's dive in right now. Pull up this cool little graphic that I have, our blood sugar chart. So I want you to think about as a baby. I talk about our baby girl Hope all the time, who's 2 years old. And the moment she takes her first breath, what does she do? She's having breast milk, which is a protein, fat, carbohydrate. She's eating every 3 hours. She stops when she's satisfied. She eats again when she's hungry. We just have to simplify everything. Your body's fuel source is ATP. So just write it down, scream it in the air. What I want you to realize is that when you do something, and this on these live interactive webcasts, when you do something, you can retain it up to 50% more than when you don't do it. So I don't want you just to see it, and I don't want you just to hear it. I want you to experience it on these webcasts. So say, ATP is my fuel source. Say it, type it, do whatever you want, but realize that that's your fuel source. And your sole purpose of your body is to take the nutrients that provide energy, your 3 macronutrients, protein, fats, and carbohydrates, to provide your body with ATP. Now, this is what we look at when we eat every 3 hours. Your body can only assimilate a certain amount of food in one sitting. And every time that, and it's pretty much it's a refuel as it goes machine. And we'd love fat to be easily accessible, but the reality is fat's your greatest source of energy. So when your body's in a state of deprivation, starvation, restriction, it holds its fats. So that's why you start seeing when you feel like you're eating less and not losing weight. Now you know why. Or when you're eating less and you're getting flabbier, you now know why. Because every single time you skip a meal, you work on empty stomach, your blood sugar drops. The graphic is perfect. You lose muscle. It's that simple. Your body can't break down fat fast enough to feed the brain the sugar it needs through ATP, so it burns muscle, amino acids. Then that next meal, for someone who has a slower metabolism, people who can seem to eat whatever they want and never gain weight, they don't necessarily worry about this. They just get softer the older they get. But for the mesomorphs like me, like the mountain bikes that I've talked about before, or the beach cruisers like my mom, the endomorphs that seem to look at food and gain weight. Well, when you just overeat, when you skip that meal, you crave carbohydrates because your body needs fuel, ATP. So you overeat and you store fat. The goal systematically from the moment you've taken your first breath in life is to balance your blood sugar by eating small, frequent meals, PFC every 3. And no matter all the stuff out there about intermittent fasting and ketogenic diets, no one has ever told me if we're meant to be fed from the first year of life, why do we ever abandon it? There is no research that can prove that. Physiologically, we are teaching from the root of physiology. When you eat a balance of blood sugar, you balance your hormones, you optimize your digestive system. Your digestive system controls your metabolism. So whatever goal you want, the first step to realize is that you must keep your blood sugar balanced. And where we took our first breath, we understand that's by eating small, frequent meals and balance of protein, fat, carbohydrates. Protein affects the hormone glucagon. Carbs affect the hormone insulin. Fat slows down digestion. So the next question I get all the time is, okay, Mark, I hear you, but that sounds complicated. Well, let's break it down even more, because I don't want you just to take what I'm saying. I want to show you more. I want to educate you about your macronutrients. And then I also want to educate you about, when we start thinking about it, about your digestive system. So think about, there's 6 essential nutrients. So just say 6 essential, because you have to think about it. There's 6 essential nutrients that your body needs to survive. And hello, everyone. Michelle Nolan's on. I love everyone jumping on. That's vitamins, minerals, and water are micronutrients. Body can't use them for energy. Your macronutrients are protein, fats, and carbohydrates. Now let's talk about what those actually are. Now, if you've ever been to one of our Zen experiences or one of my presentations, I start making people these. So protein first is, protein affects the hormone glucagon, so it raises your blood sugar. So these are all, there's 3 types of protein. You're going to have your animal-based protein, which is your most power-packed protein. Now, for all the plant-based eaters out there, the vegans, vegetarians, no offense here, but science has proven, and I can counter anything else on the market that's saying that animal-based protein, that's quality, does not provide you more nitrogen. It does. It's a higher quality per serving than a plant-based. Now, you can do the program and be plant-based, you can be animal-based, but we have to focus on the 3 types of protein. Animal-based is anything that comes from an animal, your chicken, your beef, your fish, your eggs. Then your byproduct could be your milk, your yogurt, your cheese. Then you would focus on your plant-based, which is your soy, your hemp. And plant-based is great protein. It's just a bigger, even soy. Soy is a huge molecule, so it's harder for the body to break down, and it doesn't have the same amount of nitrogen. But what you need to know is the first thing you have to tell yourself is every single meal, I need my protein. Tell yourself that. I need my protein. And protein raises your blood sugar. Okay, it directly affects, doesn't directly raise your blood sugar, but directly affects that hormone glucagon, which helps raise your blood sugar. Now, the next thing you need, so every meal, I need a protein. Just accept that. And I'm going to talk to you about why, because once again, remember, we're talking about ATP. This is about your digestive system. So you need protein. Protein gets broken down in your stomach. Second, you need a fat. Now, fat slows down the rate of hydrochloric acid. So let me show you this. And we talked about, how does this help my hormones, Mark? How does this help me get results? I'll bring it all together. I promise you this. So fat, and if you look at your screen right here, fats are your avocados, your seeds, your guacamole, your butter, your oils, your sour cream. These are all the different fats. Now, fat gets broken down into fatty acids, where protein gets broken down to amino acids. And fat slows down the rate of hydrochloric acid. So you need a protein, you need a fat. So only 3 nutrients that provide you all the energy. The third is going to be carbohydrates. So tell yourself, okay, every meal, where's my protein? Where's my fat? So if I'm eating out, I was in LA, okay, I'm looking, where's my chicken? I love chicken. And then I want a salad, which is going to be a carb, which I'm going to show you. But I want some dressing, some oil vinaigrette. The oil would be my fat. And then I had some lettuce and some veggies, and that would be my actual carbohydrates. So that's our third thing that we look at. The third thing you ask yourself when you're eating is, where are my carbohydrates? And these are carbohydrates for you. Now, Renita Brennan and I, my dear friend, we were talking about how, so you ask someone what a carb is, and they're going to say oatmeal, grains, rice, quinoa. See those beautiful fruits and veggies on your screen? Fruits, vegetables, quinoa, rice, calorie-dense veggies like beans and potatoes. They're all carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates can cause bloating in a lot of people. Gluten in particular, a complex protein found in carbohydrates, like in bread. So many people, they say, oh, I don't eat carbs, but they eat tons of fruits and veggies. If you're eating fruits and veggies, you're eating carbs. My primary diet is focused on, my carbs are fruits and vegetables. I rarely eat grains because they bloat me. So I'm very cautious when I introduce the grains. If I'm doing a lot of activity, I'll bring them in. So you just have to remember that every meal, your body's energy source is ATP. So you say, okay, ATP. Got to balance my blood sugar by eating PFC every 3, balance of protein, fat, carbs every 3 hours. I need protein, which affects my hormone glucagon. Fat slows down digestion. And carbs affect that hormone insulin. And the combination of 3 keep your blood sugar balanced. Now, let's talk about your actual. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone. And we got it? Okay, perfect. I love that. Everyone there. Same here with Michelle Nolan there. But now let's talk about how it all, let's bring it together with your digestive system. So I want you to look at this graphic that I have up here. This is your digestive system. And we just have to focus on the simplicity of our body. Our body's goal is to simply take protein, fats, and carbohydrates into our body, metabolize them to energy, and create ATP, which is our body's fuel source. It's that simple. If you implement the right strategies, you control that. Now, you have 2 types of digestion, mechanical and chemical. Mechanical are your teeth. If you look at it, you have your esophagus, your stomach, all that soft tissue. But basically it's you start chewing up your food. You then goes through your esophagus, your stomach starts churning it up, and then it goes through your intestinal tract, and then you absorb what you absorb, and then you eliminate through your rectum. That's your digestive system. So that's mechanical. Chemical are the acids and enzymes that break it down. So we just recap before I show you this next screen. It's this simple. Everything you take in is to be broken down to the simplest form. Protein and amino acids, fat to fatty acids, carbs to glucose. You take them in, you use your acids and your enzymes, and it all gets started being broken down. Now, when that happens, let me give you another chart that kind of gives you more of the science of where it gets broken down. And this comes into play in helping you balance your blood sugar. So when we look at this chart, and hopefully you can see it, I'm going to look over on my iPad that you can make sure that you see it. Maybe I'll increase the view here. Let me zoom in a bit. I think you can see it well. I'll zoom it in a little bit more. But basically, carbs start being broken down in your mouth. So this is why if you eat your carbs first, if I'm eating a PFC meal, and let's say I'm having some turkey breast, some nuts, and an apple. If I start eating that apple, because glucose is the main source that creates ATP, that's your sugar, when we talk about from a blood sugar standpoint, and I take in that, my body wants to process those carbohydrates. If I eat that apple first, I start breaking that down right in my mouth. So what we always tell people is eat your protein first. So protein gets broken down. If you see, esophagus has none, stomach, you start breaking down your protein there with pepsin. That's and the acids and the enzymes. Pepsin is your main enzyme that starts breaking down protein. That's in your stomach. So if I'm eating that meal, I'm eating my protein first. So I'm having that turkey. Then I'll have some nuts because nuts slow down the rate of digestion. Then I'll eat the apple. By simply taking that type of concept and applying it, by understanding your digestive system, you can time release your results even more. You can actually optimize the PFC mindset even greater. And then your small intestine is where we really start seeing the breakdown of fat with bile, intestinal juice, pancreatic juice. And then if I scroll down a little bit, let me scroll down on this so you can see it a little bit more. You have the large intestines, and then that's the water is going to be absorbed, ingestible waste, the feces, your rectum, and then obviously you eliminate. And this is how simple your body works. Now, the one part that's not on this is your liver. Your liver is your body's clearinghouse. So everything goes through the liver and it will process through that. But just so we can recap from your digestive system, the most important thing is this. If you can accept that when you took your first breath, you ate PFC every 3. You ate a balance of protein, fat, carbohydrates to create your body's energy source of ATP. It's how your body was designed to be fed. When you abandon that, or people abandon that, it's not from a point of physiologically, it's a choice, because your body's an ever-adapting machine. So it's not that you can't, it's not that you cannot skip meals. Of course you can. There's a price you pay. So what we did with Zen is we wanted to create a solution where we could help people understand from the scientific standpoint on why they need to eat a particular way to optimize their results, to permanently reprogram their metabolism, get their digestive system working for them, balance their hormones, and achieve the permanent results. That was the objective for you, and that's what you have to think about. Now you understand the why behind it. Now, certain foods, certain proteins may not work for you. My buddy Michelle Nolan, I love this. Michelle Nolan's right here on this. And Michelle Nolan would say stuff like, you know, she was having trouble with some bloating, some gas. She wasn't feeling as good. She wasn't getting as lean as she wanted to. So we talked. We said, we may have to adjust this. We have to adjust that, make some minor adjustments. It wasn't about abandoning where her friends would say, oh, no, you just need to do intermittent fasting. That's not the solution. See, once you know the physiology, well, you might have to eat different proteins. You might have to adjust different fats, different carbohydrates to optimize your results. But we have an educational platform, and that's what we focus on to set that up. So the concept of actually you are what you metabolize is realizing that your body's goal is simple. You need your protein, fats, and carbs. You have to eat them in the right balance at the right time, and then you control your results. If your results aren't working at the rate that you want them to, you simply need to maybe clean up your food a little bit. If you started adding too many grains and you feel more bloated, cut that back and shift to fruits and veggies. Remember, if you're eating fruits and veggies, you're eating carbohydrates. And that sets your body up to win. Now, here's a great visual that I posted today in the group, in our Zen Project 8 group and on my pages, that really just shows you the simplicity of PFC every 3. You take a protein, you take a fat, you take a carbohydrate, you put it in your plate. You can actually use very simple hand sizes. If you download the detox phase, or the ignite phase, or the thrive phase, it's much more detailed on the portion size and the list of foods. But the simplicity of the concept sets you up to win. So to recap before I bring in Zen Fuse and Zen Prime, we talked about you are what you metabolize. Your digestive system is a very simple mechanism, and you control how it works. You have to realize that your energy source is ATP. Your 3 nutrients that provide your body the energy are protein, fats, and carbohydrates. And through mechanical and chemical digestion, The sole purpose of your body is to take in fuel, break it to its simplest form, and balance its blood sugar. You can learn how to do that in a very simple way. And I know everyone watching this tonight is doing that, but if you share it with someone who's not, you can help them, or you choose not to. And every time you skip a meal, you burn muscle, slow down your metabolism. And every time you overeat, you get softer or you store body fat. This is how we change the world. What I loved in Los Angeles when we were at the Jeunesse University West in my breakout yesterday is that we had Sonia and Jojo from China come up here. They have a dear friend in China that actually is living in Spain, and they have their own WeChat group, and they're talking about PFC every 3 in Chinese. I love the global difference we are making, changing how people look at food for the rest of their life. Now, the next question is this. Once we get that, and you understand this is how my body works, and I need to then adjust it accordingly to maximize results, why did we make ZenFuse? Well, ZenFuse was designed to fill your gap filler. So we look at that, okay, I'm eating my breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but what else do I need? So there were 2 products we wanted to bring in to help your digestive system. The protein blend, and I talked to Kevin about this as well, the best protein mind in the world, Kevin Lawrence today. The micellar casein with the Trusa slows down the rate of digestion along with the whey protein. So we have fast-acting protein and slow-acting protein. It's got the 21 grams of protein, 14 carbs, 3 grams of fat, and it's liquid. So we go back to your digestive system. I want you to think back to that. If you're using whole protein, the hardest nutrient for your body to break down is protein. Whole protein eating every 3 hours is super challenging on a digestive system. Most of us don't have enough enzymes in our body. And let me bring back that chart. If you look at this enzyme chart, or if we'll look here, most people don't have enough of these particular enzymes to actually break down protein on a consistent basis if you're eating every 3 hours protein. So what's the solution? Whole protein, liquid protein, whole protein, liquid protein. A liquid whey protein with a micellar casein will keep you satisfied because of the casein is a slower breaking down protein. But because it's already in a liquefied state, it's completely takes the pressure off of your stomach. So if you're doing 3 to 4 real meals a day of whole food protein and then 2 to 3 shakes a day, the combination of the both not only balances your blood sugar, it gives your digestive system the necessary break that it needs. Now, in addition, and let me go back to this other one about I want to show you the visual here. In addition, when we actually look at your digestive system, what does fiber do? 5 grams of fiber. So fiber bulks up that large intestinal to actually help keep you regular. See, we talk about you are what you metabolize. If you're constipated, you're in trouble. Your body's not working for you. So the 5 grams of fiber per serving of ZenFuse helps keep you regular. That's why your fruits and your vegetables are so important as well as other fibers, complex carbs, if you can digest them well. Then we added 5 strains of probiotics. So think about your large intestine right there. It has live bacteria that kind of moves everything. Now, genetically, if you're a stressor, if you internalize your emotions, you'll see at times where you're stressed, things don't work as well. You might be constipated more. You might have an upset stomach because you cause an imbalance based upon sleep deprivation, stress. That's why through food, through understanding what foods work for you, by understanding the power of why we designed ZenFuse, adding that additional 5 strains of probiotics helps kind of fill in the gaps where maybe you might be lacking something genetically or lifestyle-wise to help keep you regular. And then it's gluten-free and soy protein-free. Soy protein is one of the hardest proteins to digest. The amount of molecule, and I can in the future do an entire chemical breakdown of why soy is so difficult to break down. And maybe I'll do that next week. I'll have an amazing visual on why soy is so challenging for your digestive system. And that will be a great thing to share with anyone who loves soy. But then in addition, gluten. Gluten is a complex protein that causes gas and bloating in many people. It's hard for people, whether you're celiac or not, it's hard for people to break down. So we made ZenFuse designed to be that gap filler to help stabilize and set yourself up to win. Now, in addition, I'm going to go back to that other one because I want to bring up Zen Prime. So when we bring in ZenFuse, your 2 shakes a day. I don't think I shared the right one. Hold on one sec. There we go. We bring in Zen Fuse twice a day. So you do your whole protein. We then have Zen Fuse in here. And now we brought in Zen Prime. Now, what's on the back of Zen Prime? If you have Zen Prime, and Michelle Nolan's been using this all the time, if you have this, all you have to do is look at the digestive enzyme blend at the back of Zen Prime. I take Zen Prime 4 weeks on, 1 to 2 weeks off. It's got a natural diuretic and dandelion and juniper, so it flushes out the toxins. It's got amazing milk thistle to clean out your liver. Talk about digestive system. But the digestive enzyme blend gives my digestive system an additional boost. It has everything that's on here when you think about a pepsin boost, hydrochloric acid. It helps you chemically break down food where maybe you might be lacking something. Whereas talk about someone who's lactose deficient or lactose intolerant, no, they just don't have enough of the lactase enzyme that breaks down the lactose sugar molecule. So this is the design of what we talk about you are to metabolize. So I'm going to recap and go right to Q&A. I just wanted this webcast to dive into the science a little bit more of your body. Why did we do what we do? Why do we teach PFC every 3? Well, number one, it's how your body's meant to be fed from the moment you take your first breath. So we educate you every step of the way. So that's what I want your action items to be this week. I want you to lay out your proteins, your fats, and your carbohydrates. I want you to download this graphic that I posted in the group and also share on this page. But this graphic right here, I want you to download that and put it on your fridge. And I want you to start writing down, pull out your phase guides and say, what are the proteins that work for my body? What are the fats that work for my body? And what are the carbs and veggies? What are the veggies, the fruits, and the grains that work for my body on my goals? Get clear on that. Get super clear on the list of foods that work for you. And then on your whole food meals, your 3 to 4 whole food meals, maybe breakfast, lunch, dinner, maybe it's mid-morning, lunch, dinner, whatever it is, get clear on that. And then your other 2 to 3 meals that are your Zen Fuse, utilize that. Now, maybe you're doing some almond milk with your Zen Fuse. Maybe you're doing some chia seeds with your Zen Fuse. Experiment with that. See how that feels. Maybe you're just drinking your Zen Fuse straight like I do. But the key is this. Start getting super dive into how can you leverage the cleanest foods that work for you along with drinking Zen Fuse to optimize your blood sugar and optimize your metabolism. Then Zen Prime. So I like taking Zen Prime 1 to 2 tablets 30 minutes before my Zen Fuse or a whole food meal. If you feel you have digestive challenges, like my wife Abby, she would take 2 Zen Prime before if she's eating steak or chicken, because that will give her digestive system with the additional enzymes and acids chemically an additional boost. So a lot of times we think, well, why are products made? Well, we make products with a purpose. The protein blend of Zen Fuse, the liquid aspect of it, all of the things not in it, and all of the amazing stuff in it to help your digestive system. And then with Zen Prime, that additional boost to keep your liver clean, flush out your toxins so you avoid the bloating and inflammation, and you're able to actually get the enzymes for the boost. Okay, everyone, those are your assignments. I want you to dive into your food this week. I want you to really start thinking about when you drink Zen Fuse, what it's doing in your body, because that becomes much easier to share. And when you take Zen Prime, get clear on the purpose of it. And when we watch this webcast and look at the back of Zen Prime and start seeing, wait a second, everything that my body needs to break down protein, fats, and carbs, that's my enzyme blend. These turbocharge your results. Okay, I love our community. Hope that you like the science. Feel free to shoot out more information, but you are what you metabolize. That's what controls you, controls everything. And I want you to use this week as your moment to draw your line in the sand and get into your food and maximize it. And realize that it's not an answer doing something else. If something's not working and you feel bloated, start looking deeper at what can you do differently and what can you do better. Okay, love you guys. Mwah. If you got to jump off, no worries. I'm going to dive right into the Q&A right now. I love Michelle Nolan just ordered 2 more bottles of Zen Prime. Yeah, so everyone, I know we talk about the 8 weeks and you dive in, and that's when someone takes that new Transform pack. And if you haven't done it, we have an amazing new Transform pack. That's $3.99, can set you up for 8 weeks, $120 retail sales bonus. So you're part of Jeunesse. If you're sharing it, every time you share with someone, you earn $120 cash. And then in addition, 100 CV. So you're building front end and back end. So it's important, the power of that. Now, initially, I recommend that people just kind of follow it for the 8 weeks. But if someone has digestive challenges, have them take more Zen Prime. It can only benefit them. If someone feels like they're super busy and they want to have 3 shakes a day, they can. You know, that's the important aspect to understand. Oh, Amy. So Amy, I love this. Recently diagnosed with fibromyalgia, so I'm tracking every single meal, but ZPA is absolutely the way of life. You know, Amy, you know my wife has fibro. I think you know that. Abby's got, that's how I wrote Body Confidence. You know, I changed in 2001 when Abby was diagnosed with fibro, and the pain we went through, with the pain she went through, and just from a point of just the loss of hope that she had, made me dig deeper and made me really start focusing. And this would be my feedback to everybody watching right now. The 2 bookends that I talk about, but maybe you forget or I don't talk about enough, are your sleep and your stress. I've worked with thousands of clients with digestive challenges, whether it's irritable bowel syndrome, whether it's colitis, whether it's Crohn's disease. This is the fact. There are genetic components to everything. Genetically, it's there. When your stress levels are high, you release less enzymes. This is important to understand. Your enzymes are inhibited and your acids are increased. It causes an imbalance internally. That affects your hormones and that affects how your body can metabolize food. In addition, your intestinal tract will either release or constrict. So you either have diarrhea or you're constipated. So how you manage your sleep and how you manage your stress also causes inflammation. And when we talk about inflammation, your body can't metabolize food well. These are all important things to understand because we try to fix it with quick fix dieting. And the reality is that Michelle Nolan, and I got to bring her on one of these, is probably, you know, Michelle, you inspired me. I don't think I texted you that, but Michelle Nolan's courage, because she's an amazing health coach. She's a health professional. We've talked numerous times. She's family to me. And she was struggling because she was super lean already, but she couldn't get rid of some bloating. And then I said, you got to dial in a little bit more. You really have to look at it. And then she started taking more Zen Prime and she started understanding. And she sent me a text last week with like almost a 6-pack stomach. I think it was a 6-pack. And she said, I stuck to it. And, you know, that's when all the noise was coming around her about, oh, you should do this or you should do that, because there's all that noise, but it wasn't, but she understood the science. So she just had to like roll her sleeves up a little bit. You know, in a perfect world, everyone dives into Zen Project 8 and the results are phenomenal. 75% people will just blow it out of the park, but there'll be 25% that will need a little more. You know, maybe they need a little more Zen Prime, or maybe they're struggling with certain foods, or when they enter the Ignite phase, they start eating too much rice or too many beans or potatoes, and they have to adjust. But that's why we do the support. Yeah, so Amy, if you have questions, reach out to me. Kim Markson, man, I love you. Kim, it was amazing seeing you. Family. Okay, how do you choose whether to just reserve or AM, PM versus Zen when helping someone sign up at Jeunesse? So Ruth, to me, for everything, like I wouldn't look at that. I think that's a question. It really depends upon what the goal of the individual is. My take on all of it is that I love all those products, and all those products they can take together. I would focus on it. It really comes back down to, and maybe you want to watch the webcast we're doing after this for everyone. We're doing a Share It and Build It webcast. This is the Live It, but we do the Share It and Build It tonight at 10 p.m. with Renita Brannon and myself. But Ruth, I would really look at that. I take reserve and I take AM, PM. For me, it depends on how you want to build. I think everyone in the world should live ZP8. Because there is no greater thing for your body. When you balance your blood sugar and you balance your hormones, you work better than anything. And there's no other product in the world that can do that. I'm not talking about just Zen Fuse. I'm talking about the entire program. There is nothing better for your body. There's nothing better for your skin, for your body, for your energy, because hormonally you have to get stable. Now, antioxidants reserves, I take 3 reserve a day. Because if you're not eating 14, probably 12 to 15 servings of fruits or veggies a day, you're not getting enough antioxidants to counter your free radicals. So your cells are dying on you. So you're not neutralizing those poisons. So that's where reserve is so powerful. And then AM, PM, I mean, Dr. G, who created AM, PM, I mean, his presentation in LA was amazing. So from a cellular level, it's incredible. I still, from the point of, I'm always starting with my food. And then I would recommend that it would be based upon the goal of the individual, but I would start with the food. And it also depends on your goal with your Jeunesse business. From an aspect, if you're living it yourself, it's a natural, organic, authentic build with Zen, and then you get a great RSB. But you should obviously, those are great. AM, PM, and Reserve are phenomenal products that work perfectly with ZP8. I know, Don, I wish to. Maybe we could do that. Do like a big bottle of Prime. I'm going to look into that. I agree. Stephanie said, what do you say to those who think they can do it without the supplements? Usually a price objection. Yeah, to me, you can. I would reply this. If you said that to me, Stephanie, hey, Mark, I could do it without products. I've done it in Venice. When I started coaching, I was calling, when I built my first nutrition practice, I was calling 300 people a day, and I was probably doing about, 20 assessments a day. And then as clients would enroll, many people would say, I'm going to do it without products. I've been a fan of products since I started coaching clients, because this is why I know. When someone has to eat 5 to 6 times a day, they might have the greatest intentions in their life, and they might do it great for a week, but something will happen. A kid will get sick, they'll have a late work day, and they will not grocery shop, and they will run out of food. And when they run out of food, they fall off plan. And then they get demotivated, they start eating poorly again, and then they start again a month to 2 months later. Products designed with a purpose, they could do it. So if someone says that to me, I'd say, why don't you dive into the program and get started, because this is what will help you. But if you start skipping meals, if you feel your results aren't happening fast enough, then why don't you give some of the products a try? See, people think when you talk about supplements, they think you're trying to sell them something. That's why I really want to do this webcast, because there's a scientific purpose behind why we do what we do. And there's a reason for it. So I would applaud them and say, go for it. I did my breakout yesterday in LA, and I think we had a breakout. We had like 150, they're standing room only. So it might have been, there were 140 chairs. They were all full. So maybe 170 people in there, 160 people. And I said, who can eat 5 to 6 times a day without a shake? 3 people stood up. We gave them an ovation on that, because people can. The reality, though, most people can't. And that's why we have a solution for them. Yeah, Michelle said, make sure you watch this webcast from the beginning. And Amber said, it's called constipation if you don't use the products. Amber, that is a huge thing. I cannot express how, once you accept the concept that you must eat every 3 hours, and what the toll that eating whole food protein on your digestive system takes is unbelievable. So you just have to, we're just speaking from a science aspect. Sherry McCann's in the house. Great seeing you, Sherry. Yeah, there's dairy. Linda, there's dairy and Zen. So this would be what I'd say. When someone says they're off dairy, this would be my questions you want to start asking yourself. I think in society right now, we do things, I'm off this, I'm off that. I'm not a fan of that. I think it's just mistakes people make. You have to understand the dairy you're having. So milk protein, that's in cheese, yogurt, cottage cheese, milk. That is what is heavy in lactose and causes gas and bloating in a lot of people. That's why you do your coconut milk, your almond milk. But whey protein and a micellar casein, it comes from dairy, it comes from milk, but it's not milk protein. It's got extremely low lactose, and it does not cause the gas and bloating like milk protein does. So it's not all dairies alike, just like not all proteins equal. So you have to get clear on that. I would be careful with blanket statements and really start looking at, why are you off dairy, and what's the purpose behind it, and what type of dairy are you off? I love the full Nelson effect, health for life. I love that name, Mary Nelson. Mary Nelson, I love you. The full Nelson effect, health for life. That's her Facebook thing right there. I like that. Yeah, Dar. So we're looking at ZenFuse in a serving bag. The challenge will be this. It will increase the cost. So we'll never get rid of the big bag, ever. I simply take a sandwich baggie and do that. I know a lot of people who share Zen want it in a bag. It's easy to share. So we might do that for people to share it. It's going to make the shake a little bit more expensive. Single serve is more expensive. But the bag, is so much easier from a cost perspective and when you're at home for smoothies. So we'd offer both. Becky Hurley in the house. Deborah, what's up? Deborah, I got everything, so I'll be in contact with you. Okay, everyone, we are at 9:46, so I'm going to wrap this one. What I want to do, thanks, Deborah. So I'm going to wrap this. If you missed this, watch this whole thing because I really dive into the science. And I would invite you this. If you have people that are living Zen with you and you're sharing it, I would share this webcast with them. Everyone should watch this because it really dives into the science of how you digest and how you metabolize and how you can balance your hormones and optimize your results. So I would share with everyone you know living it and someone who feels like maybe they don't need a shake or liquid protein. Maybe they don't understand their digestive system. I'd share it because we really dove into the science of the body tonight. And that's power. Knowledge is power. So thank you for being an inspiration to me. Thank you for being the greatest community in the world. What I'm going to do, we have a 10 p.m. So in about 13 minutes, Renita and I are going to rock. We have a really good webcast. The business building webcasts are going to be cool. They're always cool in my opinion, but we're really taking the next level. We're going to talk about the 7 action items. So we did one last week about, are you really ready to take on these 7 action items? Next week, I'm doing advanced training. Every single week, I'm going to really do, because as I built my brand, I'm going to share. There's many people that want to build a health brand that are rocking Zen. I'm going to really help you each and every week do powerful advanced coaching. So it's a process. This is really the second week. So if you missed last week's, make sure you watch it. But every single week, we're building upon the next. So I promise you, you will get something from it because I'm taking all my experience and we're driving it. And then with Renita, as I share the information, she's going to share how she's taking this information and leveraging it into her existing Jeanette's business with Zen. Okay. Love you guys. Next week, another great topic. And if you can tune in on this page in about 12 minutes, we're going to rock our Share It and Build It Zen webcast. Talk to you soon. Bye.